And welcome. It's Tuesday. Hello, everyone. It's Tuesday. You on the Confluent YouTube channel, and this means that it's a live streams time, or live streams Tuesday live streams, or whatever. Just like write down in the comments if you also call it live streams Tuesday. Um, and I hope the sound. I see my click stays up, and let's get to it. All right, this is official. My name is Victor Gamov, and welcome to Livestreams, a weekly show where I'm talking about all things stream processing, Kafka, Confluent Cloud, and some other amazing things, or maybe sometimes even answering some questions that you folks have about the topics that I just named, about the stream processing, about Kafka, about Confluent, and some other things. So I'm always anticipate this day because it's super excited. It requires some of the level of preparation, and I cannot let you down, and I cannot fail you with the some failed show. So yeah, I always anticipate this day. So if you are, I see already few familiar faces from the previous days. But like if you're first time here, do not be a stranger. Write down in the comments. So like it should be somewhere over here. You should see live chat, or rather like somewhere over here. Write down in the comments where you're coming from today. So where are you from? As always, today I'm coming to you from my studio in New Jersey, right across the across the river from Manhattan, and we do have a rather warmer weather today. Everything is melting, and snow is melting, and raindrops. So, where you folks are coming from today? All right, so great show. Have a Tony TV. Great show last week. Had a listening today. It's good luck with the show. Thank you, Tony. Naveen, welcome back. Some of the regulars. Write down in the comments if you got the idea where this demo come from. Like intro, where I was inspired by all these events occur in real time. And my events also occur, like events occur in real time. So write down um, if you know where this with this idea of this intro coming from. All right, so Tony today from Winnipeg, as always, as previously was stated in the previous live stream. So that would be cool. Tony think it's Matrix. Well, not entirely. I would say it was a TV show rather than movie. So think about this. All right, Baltazar, Balaz from Israel. Cool. Ivan from Moldova. Welcome. All right, cool. Okay, we do have some activity. We do have some people joining. Some Jason from Naveen from Chennai, India. That's cool. That's cool. All right, so folks, quick reminder. If you're on this YouTube channel, you probably already know, you've already seen notification that next week we have some exciting things. So let me bring this up. So next week we're gonna be doing a workshop in this YouTube channel. We're gonna be doing a workshop about Kotlin, serverless, and some cool technologies. Let me talk this real quick to you, and we go in here. All right. So we're going to next week. Let me make it bigger. Yes, I accept the cookies. The workshop around cloud native, around Kotlin, Kubernetes, stream processing, all good things that you hopefully enjoy and love. So essentially, it's going to be a longer live stream. So it's much longer than we usually have. So this live stream will include some of the practical part. So me and James, we will be here. We will be your trainers, and we will provide you some of the coupon codes for Google Cloud, so you can play around with us. And we will also walk you through this system. We will have some event capturing system, or like a rather event generating system that will be pushing data into Kafka. We will be processing this with serverless KSQL DB, and after that we will be using another web application to display the results of this. And everything would be serverless, so in this case you don't need to manage your own infrastructure. Everything would be very straightforward to implement. So it's going to be fun. I believe that I truly anticipate good workshop here. So if you didn't register yet, you can register here. So reason why we need this data: if you want to participate, we need to know how many codes to bring. So if you don't want to participate, which is also totally fine, just like enable notification here in this YouTube channel, and just go there, just set reminder. That's it. So, and after that, you will get notification that this stream will start. Again, youtube.com/confluent. You will learn where this stuff is there. So, let me see if we have any other cool questions. So we do have Vladimiras from Vilnius. Welcome. Sharon from Raleigh, Durham in North Carolina. That's great that you finally have some sunshine. Gnugnu from South Korea, welcome. Everything is great. It's great that we have the great the coverage of the live streams. All right, so thank you for registering. Like folks, like just follow the advice, follow advice of Naveen. You also need to go and register. All right. So today we're going to be talking about a few things. People were asking some questions, and I believe I saw some question here. Like it's a rather very specific question: is Spring Cloud Sleuth already supported by Kafka Binder? I have no idea. I haven't tried Spring Cloud Sleuth, and I frankly don't even know what it does. So, but it's definitely worth to check it out for me for the next live streams. Couple interesting questions that I had before today's show. So the Spring Cloud Streams and the approach that I chose to show you how you can use the Spring Cloud Stream is, as a matter of fact, it's worth to recap. So let me do this with you. We go into this demo scene repository. This is the repository where you can get the all the code for these live streams. There's a folder called live streams, and the next time, last time I was talking about this approach of Spring Cloud Streams, and specifically, not from this one. Let's do this from the January 26th. I have a very nice picture that. Yeah. So we were talking about this approach. We're talking about the how the Spring Cloud Streams, the programming model is implemented. So and many people reach out and ask, okay, so that's good that we do have this kind of like a functional approach, and function will generate some of the data, and we produce this data, or we have another function that will be consuming this. So, but like how we can do this, like a general tasks around the common things, for example, integrating this with the REST endpoint or integrating this with some other interesting API. So those are rather not advanced topic, but a little bit deeper on a deeper side of things. But today I will show you how you can do integrate with REST endpoint, how you can use the Spring Cloud Stream to produce the REST endpoint. I do have a plans to show you how you can even do like a um, dynamic destinations. So sometimes people say, oh, like when I use Spring Cloud Streams, I need to define destination, I need to define topic. But what if I'm getting this information in runtime? So that's also I wanted to show. And the third one, it's also rather specific, but it's more related to the thing that we discussed. I guess on the last week when we were talking about Kafka Streams, how to use some of the APIs that are producing more than one output, and it's actually rather simple. So we will use the example of what is the name of this, like branching. Speaking about branching, I actually we'll talk about this in a sec about branching. Let's see where we're standing. Um, all right. All right, so Ivan is asking, we use Spring Cloud Streams with Kotlin. I believe it was a typo. I believe you're talking about Kotlin. But we have the problem because using Spring Listener is deprecated. But new functionality, why not supported by Kotlin? Can you give some info? I would rather talk to developers. And I do have example that use Spring Cloud Stream and uses from Kotlin. And I don't know what kind of functionality is not available in the Kotlin, because Kotlin can access and do pretty much everything that you can do with Java. So like if you, Ivan, you will be like a little bit more specific, that would be cool to learn what was the problem there. So let's get to it. All right, as always, I start with a Gradle project in the Spring Cloud Streams. I'm going to be using Java today. So we're going to be using this one, Spring Cloud Streams, live streams QA. So that's going to be name of my project today. Let's do this a little bigger. As always, dependencies, all things Kafka, Spring Cloud Stream. Also, we will use web, reactive web. We will be using Lombok, because why not? Because I'm using Java, and sounds like appropriate use of this technology, I believe. Next, Lombok, Spring Cloud Streams, Java. If I will need something else, I will grab this from somewhere. All right, so and we're going in. I'm going in. Unzip Spring Cloud Streams, live streams, QA, zip Spring Cloud Streams, not use cases. I'm sorry, live streams QA. Okay, and we'll just do this one. All right, cool. IntelliJ ID window, we're moving it here. Write down in the comments if the screen size and the screen colors are fine, and you will be able to see everything is clearly. So I'm going to be using just like one project. Everything will be here, and examples also will be posted afterwards. We will wait until IntelliJ will do the thing, and meanwhile, I will take a look on some comments. All right, so do we have any comments? All right, so now I already know where you're coming from. What are you drinking today? Like, anyone drinking coffee or something else? I'm drinking again, all natural freedom fuel. Today is cherry lime grenade. It's gonna be my my drink for today. What are you drinking today, folks? Okay, with the IntelliJ. So we're gonna start with this very simple task where I will take a produce some data from my for my purpose into from the REST control. So in this case, I will start with some class. It's gonna be my Spring Cloud Streams REST controller. It's gonna be our REST controller. And if I need to do logging, I can do this after. Now, let's do something simple. So we will do something simple. We will read some string from our from request, and we'll try to publish this this one. So handler. Let's call it handler. We will take string, some body that will be submitted here, and we will just do post mapping, and our mapping would be bridge. Why bridge? Because we're going to be using this component, this special component called StreamBridge that allows to. This is how they call it. They call this integration with like a foreign sources, and in this particular case, REST will be a foreign source. So I'm gonna be using this StreamBridge, and also let's do this final stream bridge and my bridge StreamBridge. Since I'll just do required arguments constructor. So in this case, our dependency injection will work. And in this case, we get some data. Say key and value would be separated by just do body split, something very simple. So I would not use any body split with something like this. In this case, it will gives us key and values. And so let's see what StreamBridge allows us to do. StreamBridge send. So StreamBridge allows us to send any arbitrary object to any destination. And we will talk about binding name, or like where this needs to be sent, but also the object is data. So in the previous streams, I already showed you that you can use the message builder, which is the very convenient way to build. Let me do a little bit bigger for you folks. And we'll do this font. And let's do 26. That should be slightly bigger for many of you. Let me see. All right, so now send. It's gonna be bridge HTTP response status, HTTP status accepted. So not gonna do anything, so because it's a void method, but I want to send this as accepted. Now, so we do have message builder that allows us to create the message with payload. So in this particular case, we're gonna be taking this split and we'll take item number 1. So the first item will be key and the second one will be value. We're saying with set header Kafka headers dot message key. So in this case, we will take this split dot 0. It's going to be our key. Get bytes UTF-8. And that would be pretty much it. We'll just do build. Now we'll just do war out of it, and we get this message. Now, and this is pretty much it. This is all you need to do. And here, what we need to do, we need to specify the name of this binding. So we will say, I'm very not in the mood of coming up with some sophisticated names today. So that's why it's gonna be this and message. So what is going to happen here? Also, let's have it here. SLF4j. So in this case, I will be able to do a log request body equals, and here we're going to be doing a body. Just output to see what is going on here. Now, so let's try to run this. So for that matter, I do have CNFL local Kafka local services Kafka start. It's gonna let's try to do this locally and see how this will work in a local setting. Let's see if we do have some of the cool questions. All right, so topics. So some of the default topics that come in with the Confluent platform. Now, if I would run this, will this work from the very beginning? Let's see. I didn't do anything. Did put any configuration? So let's see if this application will work. And I got my IntelliJ ID fixed. Now I can run this application from right click. Now it's building. Let's do this one. All right, so it is running on port 8080, and there's nothing is happening here yet, right? So there's nothing. Yeah. So let's see how this will go. So if I'll do curly bridge, and we'll just do, yeah, this is going to be key and this internal server error. Let's take a look. So what is going on there? Now, so what happens is it gives me null pointer exception inside the handler. Why is that? Am I doing this wrong? Yes, of course, because I didn't specify how this body would be will arrive here. So that's why I'll just do request body, and that should do in my particular case. So let me restart. And folks, I thought we have a I thought we have a live coding session, so you also will say, "Hey, Victor, you forgot the request body." Tony is drinking coffee. That's awesome. All right, so you should use function consumer supplier for functional composition, but you can't use Kotlin functions for this. Yes, you can. And thanks for bringing this up. So you can do. I think I understand what you're talking about. Maybe you're right, but the way how I use this. So in my demo that I did for Spring Cloud Streams in Kotlin, so what I end up doing, I did something like this. So essentially, I implemented Java functions. So I didn't use the Kotlin consumer function supplier. I used the Java functions for that. So it's a workaround. I don't feel this is going to be kind of sort of like it needs to be like 100% pure. If you're using Kotlin API, you need to use only Kotlin constructs. Kotlin is a Java, so that's why I believe that this is 100% valid. So this is my supplier, this is my consumer, that's my function. A little bit cumbersome maybe because you need to, there's a Kotlin version of this probably somewhere. But I made it work. I can't complain. So um, let me know what you think. Uh, Annotation is deprecated, but using Kotlin is the only way to support this. Um, I like this functional approach better, personally. I like this better. It feels more cleaner. And I also will show you something later today. When I was preparing this, I found this interesting quirk that some of these documentation also require recommending to use some deprecated APIs, but I had to work around this one. Anyway, so let's get back to this guy. Now, in this application, let's try to submit this one more time. Accepted. So, wow, that was very cool. So let's see what's going on here. So while it is, during the startup, nothing happened. So this is my request body, and now this is where the magic is actually happening. So the magic is here, related to the point where Spring Cloud Streams is smart enough, and Spring Boot specifically smart enough to figure out where which binder to pick up. So since that was not configured, it's just okay. It's just like I will create whatever you want, and it found basic binders that available in the class path. So as you can see, there's Ktable, Kafka, Stream, Global Ktable, and after that it says using Kafka topic for outbound and coming out this value. So it created a topic. So now if I go here in my get a topics in my Kafka, so you will see that there is incoming out. We can keep this because it was default, it's automatically created for us, but as always, it can be customized. And one of the ways how you can customize this is application.properties. So in application.properties, the bindings. So we do have this binding that we define. So let's call it incoming, out, and 0, and destination. So in this case, I would say messages. And I can be very explicit about this. I can say what's going to be the binder, and I say it's going to be Kafka. So, and I can do all sorts of customization with this. I can do everything that I need to do, like a message transformation and all stuff. Now, that's pretty much it. So this is what you need to do in order to integrate this Spring Cloud Stream into your web application. So essentially, inject this StreamBridge, and this StreamBridge will be able to produce to a particular destination. Right? Does it make any sense? Does it make any sense to anyone? So let me see what kind of questions we do have. All right. Yassam from Istanbul. Hello. Thank you so much. I am happy that you're happy, Ivan. Thank you so much for for asking this. I'm just here to oblige and answer all these questions. Should you use the StreamBridge to branch to multiple topics or retalk a stream array? Joe, you running a little bit in front of gun. This is my third use case that I will breaking this down. So there's multiple interesting ways how we can do this, and I am fan of taking care of certain problems based on some idiomatic ways, like the way how the framework intended. There's multiple ways how to do this. I like to do things according to some sort of like opinion. So we will take a look on this one. But hey, thanks for asking. Now, next thing is that is dynamic destinations, right? So we do have this hard coded. So now how we can deal with this dynamic destinations for our application. So for dynamic destination, let's do this one. Let's do let's copy paste something because we can reuse some of the bits from this request controller dynamic. Let's call it dynamic destination controller. We're not gonna be using StreamBridge here. So let's do this one. So next thing is that we will say this is gonna be our, depends on where we hit this, depends on which destination we will hit. We will get a different Kafka topic. So let's see how it works. So I'll just do destination, and in my code, so there's gonna be handler will take the request body. We will keep that one, and another thing that we will have is final string destination, right? So, and we will say it is gonna be path variable, and variable name is what, destination, right? What's the cool request body, duplicates, that's fine, it's a duplicates body, and we will put the destination equals, so we would know that's where we submit this. Where's this destination, this guy, all right? So that's where we get the message. We construct the message thing here. All right, so the same stuff, we're creating this now. So the way how we can define this, the way how we can do with this dynamic destination, this actually can be done on this message level. So there is a header that we can provide for Kafka message, but there's also a special header that allows us to do, say, this additional information. Spring cloud stream send to destination. That's what we will do, and this is our destination. So in this case, like, we need to send this somewhere, and I haven't tried this with StreamBridge though. Probably it also should work with StreamBridge as well, but there's another approach that involves some of the reactive API to use. So if you would look documentation for this, like if I will just like Google, let's do it together, and I will just try to Google it, and there's some documentation from event routing. So, but this is the stuff that uses the old, the API. So with functions, there is a concept of routing, blah 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 blah. So we need to specify this routing. No, we're not gonna do this. There should be something. Yeah. So there's a guy called binder aware channel resolver. So, but if I will try to use this, like a binder aware channel resolver, it is deprecated. And in, binder aware channel resolver. I personally not a huge fan of the using any sorts of deprecated API, just like personal preference. So I will start looking. So what it says to use, it would be in favor providing this primary function-based program, blah blah blah. So send to destination. So I'm looking to this one, and there should be something called emitter processor. So there's emitter processor. Processor that also deprecated because it was a part of Project Reactor. So it says I need to use sinks many multicast on a back pressure buffer. So essentially, the result needs to be populated somewhere. So in this particular case, I need to use something like he says sinks dot many um, okay, sinks many was gonna be message s string, and the buffer, some sort of buffer, right? And say it sinks dot many multicast on back pressure buffer. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. And a result of this, we're gonna be doing this buffer on there's a try emit emit next, and try emit next, and it's gonna be my message. All right, but this is just a buffer, so something or someone needs to consume it. And the cool thing is that you already kind of like got the idea what's going to happen here. So we need to write a consumer. So in our application, so it's going to be public, um, uh, not consumer. So in this case, like I put the message into this buffer, and after that, something needs to read this buffer and publish this result on the regular basis into Kafka topic. So in this case, it's going to be supplier that will return flux. Remember, this framework is integrated with reactive thing very closely. That's really mouthful, right? The um, our producer, and it returns new supplier flux. So in this case, it needs to return our a buffer, but because our buffer is actually sync, so we need to do this as flux. So that will do, and we can do things like replace with this, replace with lambda, and since it's a one-liner, can we do this like this? So what this will do, it allows us to use routing that is defined in this header, and in this case, Kafka binder will read this route and will write data into whatever we need. All right, so let's see. Let's see if it requires some of the modification on my side of things. Let's do this. Consume. Let's do this one. So I'll have a Kafka consumer. Let's call it. Yeah, I do have a topic with fire. So let's submit something to topic with fire. So there's nothing is here yet, but I will be able to do. Ugh. I hate to do this. All right. So where's my curly? Let's do this. This is going to be dynamic destination. So let's do live streams. Live streams, and we'll put something like 42, and can I do stream here? Can I do emoji stream? Whatever, right? So what is going to happen? I will dynamically publish this to some sort of topic. Accepted. I don't have any issues. So let's see if we have a correct topic here. As you can see, this is my mistake. The live streams. So this topic was created based on this thing, and it's going to be dynamic destination. I can do like console consumer, say topic live streams, and that should output key and value. It works. If I'll do something like 43, parsing here, and yeah, that's one. That's what I was looking for. Yay. Event not found. Okay, because I was, yay, yep, all right. Okay. Once, 1, 2, 3, yay, waves, live streams. All right, so went through. And if I can do the same thing, something, it will submit it here. So if I will go here, this topic that would be created here will have something. So that's how you do it, folks. That's how you do it. I believe this StreamBridge also will do the similar thing, but StreamBridge requires you to define a destination here. So will maybe it requires a little bit more code at this point. Now let me take a look on the questions that we have here. All right, so how does it compare producer API batch size versus buffer memory? So it is abstracted from this one. So there's ways how you can do deep in the framework. So you can do things with batching and buffer memories on the Kafka side of things. I would say they're not totally parallel. I would say those things are slightly orthogonal. Because this style of programming that we see here with Spring Cloud Streams, as you can see in my code, there's nowhere I'm specifying that it is going to be Kafka. So it's only because Spring Boot knows that there's something around something for Kafka is in the class path, so it will instantiate the binder, and the binder will do the thing. But the framework itself will delegate this stuff to binder. So this stuff is going to be basically handled by framework. So on my pod crashes before sync flash, you will lose it. You will lose it. So in this case, if your application will go down, it's just a JVM. It's nothing to do. This stuff is nothing to do with Kafka. There's nothing to do with this. It's just like if you have some objects that you have in your buffers, if they were not produced in some persistent storage before application went down, it will die. So nothing to do with Kafka. So this API, again, just only delegates persistency to this like binder driver or whatever you want to call it. All right. Now we still have like almost 20 minutes, but I would like to show you one last thing today. So we talk a little bit about a REST controller. I think we're done. And let's just say we are talk about. I showed you dynamic destination and how you can implement the router using Spring Cloud Streams. The next thing is that we are going to do, and I will show you, is to do this branching thing. So if I will do Kafka tutorials, I will just steal the code from there. Split. Speaking about split, if you never heard about this pattern, if you never heard about this use case, I have a video for you, my friends. If you go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/VictorGamov, I just recorded the video that explains this Kafka tutorial. Just go there and check this out. That should be super cool. But essentially, I'm breaking down this tutorial for you. And a couple things that I need here into this one. is just to grab some of the bits. So sometimes people having troubles with using Spring Cloud Streams with the things like Kafka, Scheme Registry. So that's why I want to show you how you can use Scheme Registry in this application as well. So let me see if I'm showing you my desktop. Everything is cool. Now let's do this. I'm adding these few plugins here into my build script. So first thing is that I'm not gonna be using Shadow. So we're gonna be using this Maven Central. We're gonna be using the plugin that generates some Avro stuff. We're gonna be using repositories that will be using Confluent repository because we need some dependencies here. Apply plugin Avro. And I will do somewhere here. Okay. So src main Avro. So and I will steal the Avro thing because I don't want to write this directory called Avro. And the new file. What's the name of the file we have here? So it is called acting event. So we will just take this one and we'll take a schema. So idea is to have this event. We will extract the genre, and based on the genre, we will do routing on our application. That's the idea for this. Meanwhile, we hear there's a question. Simon has a question around. Let me go here. So can we set the destination configuration? Yes, you can. So when you do this, I think I showed in a previous example, but essentially you can do configuration here on something like on a producer. You can do something like partition count, replication factor. I don't remember. You can do this with defining the bin for this one, but you should be able to do so. Like at least partition count, you will be able to set here. Replication factor, I don't remember. It's a good question though. It's a good question. So partition count, you can specify here, like when it's create this one. So that will be available. Do not settle for default configuration that I will always say. There's something that's available for you to change. So do not settle for default configuration. All right. Yeah. Oh, I didn't show this. So you can do let's do this one. Instead of destination, you will be able to set producer, and for producer you can set a number of partitions. Partition count. You can set this here. So that's partition count 5, like this. So that's how you do it. Topic is created, so I'm already doing this now. Now next thing is that we need to steal. Let's steal some of the logic. And logic would be very simple. So the logic will be very simple for our application. So let's do this one. Let's do this again. Public function function, and as a result, streams. Can I do this? Okay, so let's do this one first. I already have my Avro schema, so I can generate this and just do other compile to Java. Okay, I didn't update this. Also, which reminds me, I didn't bring some Confluent dependencies. So I need to bring some Confluent dependencies here, specifically Avro and Surdays. That's what I need to use in my. I still have some time to show this to you. So Avro, simple Kafka Streams, and we just released Confluent Platform 6, so that should do. And source generation, generate Avro Java. That will allows me to generate this stuff. Here, KStream with the key string and acting event. Acting event, it's going to be my input, and output is going to be my result of the branch. So in this case, it's going to be KStream string and acting events, and like this. Return input stream, and as a result, we will do branching. And branching, I'm gonna steal from here. Just like don't want to type. I want to show you how we can reuse all this stuff without typing much stuff. So we do have this one. All right. So we do have this one. So in this particular case, I do have already stream here, so I don't need to do this. So I'll just do stream branch. Public. Oh, yeah. So when I'm doing this, I'm just why I'm doing this? Yeah, it's a type. Stream and like this. Here we go. Java util function. Bin function. So what I did wrong. Name. Yeah, let's call it branch function. Yeah. So, and as a result, is it extra? Okay, I don't see it. So this is my stream. I don't need this. Okay, stream. That's what we have, right? So that's what we have. That's our logic. So now let's configure this destination. So a couple things that needs to be done here. So first of all, do not forget we're using Kafka Streams. We're using Streams application Spring application name, which is branch example Livestreams. Now we need to specify this function that we're going to be using. So in this particular case, it's going to be branch function Spring Cloud Stream function definition. So the branch. So now the next thing is that bindings. Bindings. So we do have this branch out 0.1, and I need to set the destination. So it's going to be what's the names we use here? The drama acting events, fantasy acting events, and other acting events. So we're going to be taking this destination. We're going to be taking this boom, boom. So we're going to be 1, 2. It's going to be fantasy. It's going to be other. And so the next thing is that we also need to specify the input. So we input in going into 0, and it goes from the topic. What's going to be input topic? Input topic acting events, right? That's what we have. Yep, that's what we have. Now let's put this Spring Kafka properties schema registry URL. It's gonna be HTTP localhost HTTP localhost 8081. Now, and I also need to specify the default binder property. So binder Kafka Streams configuration and default doesn't understand default value Thursday. Since we're using this specific Avro Thursday, I'm gonna be using this guy. Okay, copy path, copy reference, and in this case, I will go here and set this one. So in this case, it's a value Thursday, and I need to have a default key Thursday. In this particular case, it's gonna be string serial Thursday, string Thursday. It's gonna be this guy. Where's my class? String Thursday, and it's gonna be string Thursday. Copy path, copy reference, and we're gonna be here. Thursdays, string Thursday. I think it's needs to go through dollar. That's how it understands it. Now, all good, all good. Now my application should be able to run this. Stop and rerun. And I do have some testing data, so I can, yeah, I do have some of the testing data. Let's see, running. Do I have a running? For some reasons, Kafka Streams app is not here. Oh yeah, it's running. Okay, so next thing is that CNFL local services schema registry start. I forgot to start schema registry. Duh. Meanwhile, let me grab this from here. Kafka console producer. Kafka console producer. So in this case, it's gonna be broker list. It's supposed to be Bootstrap server, but anyways, local host, and we will just do Bootstrap server. So we're gonna be producing stuff, and let's see, consumer console consumer from topic drama acting events. So we're gonna be producing stuff, and we're gonna be consuming some stuff. That's gonna be our copy. Yay. Okay, so my application works, as you can see. Now, this is how you configure this basically. Again, let me walk you through this. So here, the way how you can define this. This is our the binding. Sorry, we're using Kafka Streams binder. This is how we configure this. We're providing some of the binder specific properties. For each binding, you can define the binder configuration, as a matter of fact. Now, this is how we're defining these inputs, because my function has multiple outputs. That's how you can do this. One input and multiple output. And that's how you can configure this. And now you can mix and match this together with some other things as well. So let me quickly take a look in the questions below if I have any. Yes, I found this error. Thank you so much, Adil. So does Kafka Streams array have to be one type, or it's supposed to be multiple? All right. So that is a very very good question. I believe there is right now dependency. It needs to be the one type. You can do something like this, but in this case, it would be difficult to for this application to pick up the appropriate serializer if you have a multiple different types. It's easier if you're using the serializer like a specific Avro third day, for example, that is doing the thing for you. But this is a very good question. I think there's lots of improvements coming into the branch API, because I was reading there is a new keep that's coming in Kafka 2.8 that will replace the branch with split with proper typing, so that will help to answer this question. That's that's the highlight. But I think this is where I will leave you. This is where I leave you. So I will ask you continue to send these questions. This is my Twitter. You can always DM to me. I hope you folks enjoy this episode of live streams, and hopefully I was able to answer some of the questions. So with all this kind of stuff. Every Tuesday on this YouTube channel, I will be here talking about some cool stuff around Kafka, stream processing, cloud, some other frameworks. So bring your questions in. Let's talk about the things, and do not forget to subscribe for upcoming webinar. The workshop that I'm going to be doing with my friend James Ward from Google. And with that, I will see you next week. My name is Viktor Gamov, and can you repeat after me? Like, can we do this together? Let me answer one last question. Is there a way from the JSON string partition into the topic generate a schema, dynamic schema? Let's say I'm interested in have data in the Parquet format as output. This is a very good question. How you can generate the schema dynamically? I will be talking about this in a workshop, and as a matter of fact, I will be using JSON schema as example how we can extract this schema. So that's stay tuned. Don't forget to register. And my name is Viktor Gamov, and as always, have a nice day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.